In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Duplicator plugin to migrate a website from one host to another while keeping the same domain name and with zero downtime. You're not going to want to miss this video. Hi, I'm Bjorn from WPLearningLab. Now let's get started. This is the website we're going to move in this video. There's an error I got to fix right here with the Elementor template. But all the content is it's content, and the site gets traffic, and these are all full blog posts. And so this is what we're going to be moving. And we're going to move it from, currently it's on SiteGround hosting, to this Maker's host, which I bought on AppSumo a long time ago. And I'm going to show you how to do this without downtime, which is super slick. I'm going to use the Duplicator plugin to make this happen. So the first step is install Duplicator. So let's go to our dashboard for the website that we want to move, and then go to plugins and then add new. Look up Duplicator. You can add the R if you want at the end. In fact, do add the R at the end. Otherwise, it's not going to show up. Okay, so there we have Duplicator. I have the Pro version installed on this website, but you can do this with the free version as well. Click on Install Now when you want to install it. Click on Activate when you want to activate it. This is the free version in the repository. The Pro version you download from the website when you have it, but moving websites is the exact same. Just that the Pro version gives you some more bells and whistles. So once you have that installed, you'll have an item on the left called Duplicator. In my case, Duplicator Pro, because it's the Pro version. If we click on that, there's a couple settings we want to check out before we click on Add New Backup. So let's head into the settings under Duplicator. And we want to make sure, if you have the Pro version, you have the license key installed. Under Backups, you want to make sure that you have shell zip chosen. That's the best method. Under Storage, we're going to just save this to our local hard drive, because we're just going to have the backup made, then we're going to download it and upload it to the different host, the other host. So you don't need to have any cloud backups configured or anything, but you need to know where it's going. So this is going to go into the public HTML folder, WP content, and then backups dup pro. If it's just the free version, go to backups dup. And to get to here, we have to go into the file manager. This is SiteGround. And under file manager, we see public_HTML right here. Then we have WP-content, and we don't have, we do have the folder. Well, for the free, it's going to be backups-dup-lite. So for the Pro version, we'll go into here. This is where the backup is going to appear in just a second. So once we have those couple settings set and we know where the files are going, then we can head over to Duplicator and then Backups, and then click on Add New. Here we can set a name. These tokens are replaced with the actual things they're referring to. So this will be the year, this will be the month, the day, and the site title. I'm just going to keep that as it is. I'm not going to choose a template or anything. Under storage, you can choose your storage type. If you have, for example, if you have Duplicator as your scheduled backup plugin, you might have offsite storage. That's probably the best place to do that. So you'd have other storage options you can choose from here. Here it shows some options for the backup. We want to do a full site backup because we want to migrate the entire thing. We don't want to migrate just the database or just the media. We want the whole thing. So make sure this is full site. On the security tab, we can give our zip file a password. In my case, I'm not going to, because I'm going to have this process done really quick. If you're storing this file somewhere, the zip file for your backup, somewhere on a server, you might want to give it a password just in case, just to keep it a little safer. In my case, don't need to. Under installer, I'm going to choose, or going to leave all these options as they are, not change anything there. Then click on next. Duplicator is going to do a quick scan of our site, and it looks like everything checks out and is good. Then I'm going to click on Create Backup. And it's already at 5%, so I assume this is going to go pretty quick. I'm just going to pause this video while this works, and we'll see how long it takes. It has a timestamp here of 11:20. That's when it started. So we'll see what time it is when we're done. It's all done. It's currently 11:22, so it took about 2 minutes, or under 3 for sure. I don't know how many seconds it is. Oh, this turned 11:23. So let's say 2.5 minutes, probably. Less than 3. Now that this is done, I'm going to click on Download to download this backup. If this were your backup solution on your website that you normally use, and it's scheduled, because we have the option to do scheduled backups, you'd have a whole list of backups here with timestamps over here, and even the title we chose shows the date of when that backup was made. Then you can restore to any backup that you want to in the past, which is super handy. We're not doing that here. We are downloading to migrate our site. So let's click on Download. I'm going to choose both files so we get the installer and the archive. I'm going to save this somewhere. Let's throw it on the desktop. Allow it to download multiple files. If you get this warning up here, it's not letting me press allow. There we go. That's better. I'm going to change the name of this so it's in the same spot as our zip. There we go. Those are downloaded. And now we need to upload those to the new host. You do not have to have WordPress installed to make this work, but we do have to have a couple things set. So over here, our domain name is rvbeingwithfamily.com. And I'm going to assume that you want to move your website, rvbeingwithfamily.com, to a different host, but keep the same domain name. This process also works if you want a new domain name. This is even easier in that case, but we're going to, for this video, go to the same domain name. So we need to go into our new hosting account, and in the cPanel for that account, we got to find the domains section. In my case, it's right here. Your host support will be able to help you find it as well if you can't find it on the list. And then I'm just going to copy this domain, put it right in there. Click on Add Domain, and it should be down here. There it is. I like to have it organized a little better. I have for all the domain names, I have an acronym for the domain name before the public_HTML because this is a shared hosting account. So I've got a whole bunch of domains on here. So rwf_public_HTML is going to be the folder. Click on Update to make sure it's updated. Let's double check, and there it is. Okay, now if we go back to the main area of our cPanel and find the file manager right here. Here's all the folders for all the domains on this hosting account. And I do not see our brand new one, rwf_public_HTML. I'm going to try to refresh. Sometimes a folder isn't made unless you actually install something there. So we have the domain placeholder with the folder name that will be made once something is installed, but it's currently not installed here. So I'm just going to try to add a new folder. No problem. Call it rwf_public_HTML. Create and open. This is the folder right here. And now we're going to upload those two files that Duplicator created for us, the zip file and the installer. Let's click on the upload button. Now we can drag and drop the files right here, or you can click on this to find the files on your hard drive. These are the two right here. In this case, we have a max file size of 5 gigabytes, and the installer is 128 kilobytes, and the zip file is 237 megabytes, so it should be no problem. Click on Upload when you're ready. You can also upload these via FTP if you want. If you want a tutorial on how to use FTP for your hosting accounts, I'll link to that in the card up above and in the description down below. And here it says the upload time is going to be 4 hours. That's super slow. And it's definitely not my internet that's causing that slow. So hopefully it's just going to be a connection to the hosting account that speeds up in the first few minutes of starting the upload, or it might take 4 hours. Who knows? This isn't the best host that I got off AppSumo. I rarely use it. Just for like websites where I'm testing things out. All those websites you see in that list, those are all just tests. They're not real, legit websites. But we had this down to 5 minutes just a second ago. Now it's back to 3 hours or 4 hours. Anyway, I'll just pause this video and I'll be back when this is uploaded. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, both those files are updated. And I'm going to rename this one to something a little simpler because we have to navigate to this file in a browser to make the installer work. So I'm just going to rename this to just installer. When it's on your hard drive and you're storing it somewhere, having all the details there is helpful, especially because I just chose the same name as the archive. So you know that's the installer for the archive. Having it just installer.php on your hard drive is not helpful at all. But once it's uploaded, you can rename it because we've got to navigate to this. And now comes the tricky part, because we have to navigate to this, as I was saying multiple times. But we can't navigate to this with our current website. So if we copy this domain name and we navigate to, this is in the root folder, public_HTML, and we navigate to just installer.php, we're going to get a 404 because this is taking us to our existing hosting account where our existing website lives. To access this on our new hosting account with the same domain name, we need to trick our computer to take us to a different IP address when we enter this URL. But you don't have to do this if you're migrating your site from an old domain name to a new and different domain name. If you're doing that, stick around to the next section where we update our DNS records. You have to do that first. So you upload these files, then we go into Namecheap. We're going to update the DNS records to point to this new host, and then you can use the installer. But if you are using the same domain name and you're just migrating to a different host with the same domain, we have to trick our browser. So to do that, on a Mac, we have to edit what's called the hosts file. And on Windows, the equivalent file is either called a hosts file as well or an etc file. I'm not exactly sure. You have to Google it, and it depends on your Windows setup. But there is an equivalent file where you use the same process. So what do we do with the hosts file? We need to tell it to open this host, the new host, instead of the old one when we enter this URL. So to do that, we need to find out first what the IP address is of the new hosting account. And this should be somewhere in the cPanel. There it is right there. IP address is right here. So I'm going to copy this IP address. Just give you another example really quick. Inside SiteGround, if you go to the dashboard of any website, it shows the IP address right here. So you're going to be able to find it somewhere. Somewhere you got to find an IP address. And then we need to open our hosts file. To open the hosts file, I'm going to use terminal. On Mac, I don't know what the equivalent program is on Windows. I apologize for that. Once this is loaded, I'm going to type in sudo nano /etc/hosts and hit enter. Then I've got to enter my computer password. And here it shows all the entries in my hosts file currently, and there's quite a few. I'm just going to use my keyboard to scroll down past all these. And as a new entry, hold on, I'm going to go to the very bottom. There we go. So these ones up here are all from the app called Local that allows you to do local websites. And that's how you can enter a domain name in a browser, but not access the internet, but access something locally. If you want to know more about local and developing sites on your computer, I've got a tutorial for that as well. I'll link to that in the card up above. Once we're on a new line, we need to paste in the IP address. This is the one that we want to point to. So it's the one on the hosting account where we're going to migrate our site to. And then we need to type in the URL of the website. And that should be it. But we have to save this. So let's press, according to this menu here, Control X to exit, and then Y to save it, and then hit enter. It'll save that file, and now the file's closed and saved. And then after that, we have to flush the cache. So we paste in sudo kill all -HUP, and then mDNS responder, all written in that case. So the 4 letters in the middle have to be uppercase. And you can find this in Google. Just Google it. You can find all these things there as well. You can just copy and paste. So hit enter, and now the cache is flushed. And now, as long as, you know what, not as long as, well, maybe as long as the Chrome cache doesn't destroy us here, we should be directing to a new website when we go to rvingwithfamily.com. Let's try it. No, we're not yet. Let's try incognito. rvingwithfamily.com. Oh, this could be good. Should be blank page. Forbidden. You do not have permission to access this resource. This is the functioning website. It's here. It exists. But now only on my browser, on my computer, I should say, no matter which browser you use, but on my computer, when I try to access rvingwithfamily.com, it now goes here, as long as it's not a cache page, which we were seeing a minute ago. This is the website on this new hosting account. So now I need to go to the domain name and go to /installer.php, and it should open the Duplicator installer. There it is. Look at that. And again, this is only available on our computer. So anybody else outside of our computer, not even our IP address. So if someone else is in your home on the same Wi-Fi as you, they would still see the website as it normally is. It's only on our computer because we changed the host file just on our computer, on this one computer. So from here, we get this brand new thing. So we can work on this while our regular site is still live. So here it shows what we're going to do. We're going to install on a single site. This is going to install the entire WordPress site as well. We can, for the database, create a new database or any of these options right here. I'm going to use an empty database and we're going to make it because I want to keep the same naming conventions for all my databases. And I think those kind of vary a little bit between hosting accounts. So in this hosting account, let's find the MySQL databases right here. Let's open that and create one through here so the naming convention is consistent. You can see these databases here. They're all named, I guess, WordPress dash and a string of numbers. I guess that's not that impressive. Don't need to have really consistency there, but I'll do it this way anyway. So we're going to type in, let's do WordPress, and just for fun, RWF for RVing with family, then a string of numbers. Let's copy that, create database. And now we're going to have it down here somewhere. There it is right there. This is the database password. So let's copy that and save it. And then down at the bottom, we want to add a MySQL user. Let's call this user Bjorn, RWF, string of numbers and characters. We want to make it something that's not super easy to guess. Copy that. So we've copied the database name, the database password. Now I copy the username for the database. We choose which database to connect them to, which is going to be the RWF one, and give them a password. Let's just generate it and then copy this one as well. Then create MySQL user. And now our database is created. We've created a user, connected it to the database. And now if we go back to our incognito mode over here, and we enter these details, the database name, didn't need the database password after all. So the database name was this, database username was this one, and the password was this one. There we go. That should be all we need. Let's see what's under the advanced tab. Oh, good. Deleted everything. Super helpful. All right, well, let's stay on the advanced tab anyway and enter this information again. Okay, down here under options, we can choose what parts of the website we want to install. We want to install all of it. Click on validate, and hopefully we get a bunch of green checkboxes. Did we? We failed. We failed in the database. Unable to connect to our brand spanking new database. No such file or directory. So I think the problem could be the local host. So up here for the host, I just have localhost, but then on our hosting account, we have the server, which is often also called the host, as this. So let's try copying this. Generally, localhost will work. That's why it's auto-filled, because in most cases it works. Let's try validating those credentials now. Now there's a warning instead of a fail. Coalition isn't supported on current database. Legacy coalition will be replaced by default values. I don't even know what that means. It's just a warning, so I think it's okay. And this is probably where the warning was right here, the collations. Let's give it a shot anyway. Should be just fine. Click on I've read and accept terms and notices. Click on next. Run the installer with these details. Okay, let's go. 41,000 files need to be processed. Let's see how long this process takes. It's currently 11:51. I'll pause this video and we'll come back and see how long that took. So far it's going pretty quick. So that part's done, step 1 of 4, and now we're on step 2 of 4, install the database. And that first step took less than 1 minute, so it's now 11:52. Up here there's a warning that we have multiple htaccess files, and they're inside WP includes and inside WP content. So I think that's okay. I'm just going to leave that as it is. Not much you can do there anyway. Click on next to install the database. I'm going to pause this video. No, I'm not, because it's done already. That took less than 5 seconds. And now we can do custom search and replace if we want to. So if we were migrating from one domain name to a new, unique, different domain name, you can search for the old domain. For example, if we wanted to move our domain name rvingwithfamily.com to rvingwithfamily2025.com, we can search for these entries in the database and replace them with this. So we have all the plugins, all our links, all the images, all the everything referencing the correct domain name. Otherwise, stuff on your site isn't going to look right. Stuff's not going to load. Stuff's going to break. We are not changing domain names, so we're going to leave that blank. Under the admin account, it should be the existing user. So it's going to be, this is the existing user that exists on the website currently, and the password will be the same as well, unless you enter a new one here. You can also create a new user if you want. The plugins list, it shows the plugins here, which ones are inactive, which ones are active. Just going to keep all that as it is. WP config file, which contains our database login credentials. was probably updated to the new credentials that we gave it a second ago. At least it should have been. I'm going to leave that untouched as well. Down at the bottom, we see database scan options. We can do cleanup, which removes schedules and storage endpoints. Let's check that. Good to have a clean database. And all the rest, I'm going to keep as it is and click on next. And now I'm going to pause this video while this runs, and maybe I don't need to. It's doing the cleanup already. And I don't need to. That was super fast. Step 4, test site. Okay, let's do that. There's a warning under general notices status, and I can't see the warning up here. The warning is probably this one. One or multiple config files were found. That's okay, because it's not in the main folder for the website. And it looks like everything is tickety-boo. Let's open a new tab and go to this URL. And I know what you're thinking. This looks the exact same as the other website. It even has the template error. So I think you're cheating and just going to your existing website. I'm not though, because this one has a security error because the SSL certificate is not yet activated. If on my phone, I go to this website, rvingwithfamily.com, hope you can see that. Click on go. There's the website right there. And we see the URL has HTTPS. Everything looks pretty solid. Let's see if we can log in. Go to WPadmin. Doesn't have an SSL. We know all about that already. Continue. Let's log in. Bjorn. Click on log in. And now, should log in no problem. Here it shows the site has been successfully migrated. Sweet. Awesome. And if we go to our dashboard, it all looks the same. We go to our plugins. There's 11 updates, just like the other one had. If you rewind to the beginning of this video, we had 11 updates. And this is the whole 9 yards. And this is everything. We've migrated the website successfully. But we're not done yet. The SSL is one thing. That's pretty easy to take care of. If we go back into our new host, this one right here, and we go back to the cPanel for this host, search for SSL. There it is right there. You'll have something equivalent on your hosting account. Might not be the exact same. It's not going to look the exact same, but it'll be something similar. And we see for rvingwithfamily.com, which is, where is it? Right here. We have no SSL. And we can't activate an SSL yet because the domain is not on their name servers. What are name servers? Name servers are pieces of or strings of text that let a domain registrar know where the website is hosted. In the example of Namecheap, if you go into the informational area for a domain name, and then under the domain tab, we scroll down to the name servers, we see these ones set for SiteGround right here. But we need to find the name servers for our current hosting account. So let's go back to the main cPanel area, and they're usually quite obvious. They're usually in this information section on the right. Are they? Or are you going to make me look like a fool? I don't see them over there. Let's search for name servers. There's not even a link to click on to find the name servers. So let's go to the help desk. Support database. Let's type in name servers. What are MakerHost name servers? Okay, read more. Our name servers are ns1.stackdns.com, 1 through 4. So I'm going to copy this first one. Hopefully your name servers for your hosting account are a lot easier to find. SiteGround, for example, throws them right there, right on the main dashboard for the website. Super simple. I don't know why they got to make it so complicated on MakersHost. Anyway, copy the name servers, go to the domain name registrar, and replace the ones you have. Click on Add Name Server if you need to. In this case, I do. And then once that's done, click the check mark, and then those will begin propagating. I'm not going to click the check mark in the case of this video because this is still a live website that makes me money, so I don't want to mess around too much with it. But if I click this check mark, what's going to happen is instead of requiring me to update the hosts file on our website to the IP address inside of our hosting account to visit the website, it's actually going to move it to the live website that everybody's going to go to. And it's going to be with no downtime because we went from the website being live on our old hosting account, and then we check to make sure the website works and it has everything it needs secretly by changing our hosts file on our computer. So then when we migrate to the new DNS right here, it's going to be seamless. As soon as the migration's complete, which can take up to 24 hours, sometimes 48 hours, but I've found it takes usually half an hour or two, as long as you didn't make any errors in adding the URLs in here. And then the traffic will go from your website on your old host to the website on your new host and have no downtime at all. People won't even notice you're on a new hosting account if you did everything right. And then once you've done this whole process and your traffic is all going to the new website, you're going to want to go back into your hosts file and remove that entry that we entered because you don't need that anymore. And also something to note is if you have traffic tracking software, for the next few days after you do this, it's going to be a little messed up because these name servers need to be changed all around the world because you might get traffic from all over the world and it doesn't happen instantly. And so you might have North America switched to the new DNS and the new hosting account, but then in Europe, they might still be heading to the old one. And so for a few days, your traffic numbers are not going to be what you expect, but don't panic. If all the migrations are complete, usually within 2 days, if everything is complete and then your traffic is still messed up, then you got to look for solutions. But if it's just a couple days after you make this migration, don't worry about it. Just wait for a few more days and everything should resolve and be fine. So if you want to check out Duplicator, there's the free version and the pro version. I've linked to both in the description down below. The pricing for the pro version is for pros. I'd say it's not for one-time people who want to migrate a site just once, but it does offer more than just migration because you have the scheduled backups, you have recovery points, you have file encryption, you can go to offsite cloud storage, you have all these migration tools here, but this is really helpful for agencies or service providers or freelancers who are moving sites for people because it makes it so simple with no downtime. And as you upgrade to higher tiers, this is per year, by the way, so it's not too expensive when you calculate that as how much does that cost per month. You get a lot more features as you upgrade to the higher levels. And if you do click on that link down below, it is an affiliate link. So if you end up buying through that, Duplicator gives me a small commission. It does not make it more expensive for you, but it's an easy way for you to show support for me and the channel if you want to do that. And if you do, I really appreciate it. And that's how we migrate a site with Duplicator with zero downtime. If you got value from this video, make sure you smash the like button and then click subscribe and ring the bell to let me know. And then check out this video on the screen, which is all about the all-in-one SEO plugin that's going to help you get your SEO dialed in once and for all. It's a long video, it's a full walkthrough, and you're going to get a lot of value from it, so make sure you check that out.